Welcome everyone to the Healing Sexual Trauma Summit. I'm Marcy Little, your host, and today we have Nikka Karli. Nikka, welcome.
Thank you.
Wonderful to have you. Before we start diving into how wonderful Nikka is, we will take a moment just to get ourselves centered and present. For me, it just feels good to take a big exhale with a little sound involved. You can do whatever allows you to feel more present. I see you, Nikka. You're moving that body. And I love that, right down to the core. Yeah, so if moving your body feels like the right thing for you right now, just move it. See if you can feel into your feet a little bit. And then just noticing your breath, whatever it's doing. And when you're ready, you come on back. And the invitation here is to be here as it works for you. We're going to be talking about some stuff. And, you may find there are certain moments where you might feel a little overwhelmed or jazzed or whatever. If you ever need to just take a break, just hit the pause button, walk around, move your body, come back when you're ready. Okay, without further ado, Nikka Karli. Yay. Okay, so some stuff about Nikka. Nikka is a medicine walker and erotic muse. Writer, multidisciplinary storyteller, body poet, moon stalker, ceremonial activist and abolitionist, and yoga teacher who helps soul refugees and multidimensional messengers, artists, healers, athletes, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, access and unleash the remembrance of their erotic genius and scale their soul's work into preeminent platforms of social change through Primal Self Re-Integration. Her work also evokes and provokes the somatic decolonization of systematic, racialized and sexualized trauma in the bodies of melanated BIWOC creators and white co-conspirators of the antiracism revolution at hand. Nikka. That was really wonderful to read. And I'm wondering if you'd like to add anything to that, or just unpack that a little bit for us.
Thank you. Yeah, there's something that has always been in me since I can remember. That was this craving for homecoming and this craving for being able to continuously be in the accessing of the beyond the physical senses, and also fully being here and to help others remember who the fuck they were, like, and what they came here to do. And in the various lineages and teachings and schooling and all of the things, there's always been that presence of the wilds, and there's been that presence of creativity and coming home, and how we can allow everything that we've been through and experienced on this human experience thus far to, rather than feel like an obstacle or a hindrance or a stagnation point, a stuck point, we can transmute that into the revolution. We can transmute that into love. We can transmute it back into that which it always was, and find ourselves fully in that journeying. And yeah, so there's just been this beautiful alchemy and play through, the dance through all of the things. And yeah.
Yeah, as you spoke of that, it's like I have this image of just calling back all of these parts. Just,
yeah,
it's like, come on home.
Yeah, it's just the remembrance.
I like your use of the word rewilding.
It's one of my favorite words.
I mean, I think it was that made me say, oh, Nikki's got to be part of this summit. You know, because rewilding, can you talk about what you mean by that?
Mm-hmm. It is, again, it's that homecoming, but it's the homecoming to who and what and that which we were always going to be, like what we could not be, like we couldn't not be it, no matter how much trauma and drama and things and all of the encodings and everything that we went through and that we experienced. We couldn't not be this thing. And the wilds, they call us, and the rewilding is simply that reintegration and the remembrance back into what we were always going to be. Some of us go our entire lives without touching that, without sensing that, without dropping back into that, without coming home to that. And that would not, for me, that is not fully being alive. It's like, well, what was the point of this journeying? Why did I come here if I wasn't going to remember? And so the rewilding is this, it's touching back into the primordial muck and the void and the magic, and remembering that that was what we always were and what we would always be. And even after we transition out of physical form, we are still that. And so the rewilding is this, yes, it's movement and it's breath and it's creativity, and it's also nature and elements and God, whoever, creator, great mystery, who and whatever that is for you. But it is this full somatic remembrance of who we could not be, like who we couldn't not become, like who, like no matter what, we were that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. I love how you said it.
Thank you.
All right, so I ask everyone in the summit the same question, which is, what made you want to be part of this Healing Sexual Trauma Summit?
It is, as a female identified body, sexualized trauma is it can be one of the heaviest, stickiest, most unctuous things that we can hold, whether or not we've experienced it on a big T trauma, sense ourselves, little T trauma, whether it's ancestral wounding. But if you are in a female identifying or female identified body, a femme body, there can be this heaviness and this feeling as if there's only so much safety and security that we can hold. And it is either at the mercy of the male form, or it can be taken away at any given moment, simply by walking down the street or being out in the world. And when we allow ourselves to fully drop into the reintegration and the healing of sexualized trauma on all layers and levels, whatever that might be in your body. There is no, oh, this is where you really get to heal, or you should be fine, and why are you complaining? None of that. When we drop into a somatic, full-bodied, full breath reintegration through any sexualized trauma that's living, that's become stagnant in our bodies, wherever that residue is, we free up space. We free up space to become what we always were. We free up space to remember ourselves. And we also, so in that expanded capacity to work with and exist with our nervous system, and our sense of self, our identities, all the things, our creativity, our expression, we are also able to fully access our sexual energy, which is like some of, if not the most, it is some of the most potent and powerful energy that we can play with on this humaning journey. And so many do not have, they don't feel as if they have, or they do not allow themselves to have that relationship, to have that accessing of one of the most prevalent energies, not only in our bodies, but in the world, because it is life. It is life. It is life, destruction, rebirth. It is the entire cycle. Mm-hmm. And so as we allow ourselves to say yes to that, and whenever there's like most delicious, like a summit about this, like what? Like we just get to invite, right? People from all over the world, regardless of whether or not you can come into, like, depending on where we are and, the age, the times that we're in, right? But whether or not you can go somewhere in person and be in ceremony or be in teachings, when we have things like this, like an online summit, people all over who are able to access the interwebs can drop into a sense of remembrance and knowing and accessing of safety within themselves that maybe they didn't believe was possible for them until that moment. So yeah, it's a very, very long-winded why I said yes.
And worthy of being long-winded, a great response. Okay. I really also resonate with the notion that just being born into the female form, it's like we're born into this legacy. And so whether we become conscious of it or not, it's housed in our ancestry, it's housed in our culture, it's housed in our cells. And I love, I particularly appreciate, like, we can just walking down the street, we can lose that feeling of safety and autonomy in our bodies. So it's really this work, as you're putting it, it's like, it's here.
Yeah,
it's simply here. It's simply,
yeah.
So cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna talk a little bit. You're gonna help us explore the intersection of racialized and sexualized trauma.
Yeah. It's one of, when we drop in with healing, and myself, I've been deeply connected with my sexual energies from a very, very young age. And when I started exploring, and it was something that people would come to me around sex, relationships, intimacy, even when I was like working in sports medicine, and like it was always just something that people were coming to me around. I was like, oh yeah, let's drop into this as something that we actually learn rather than just our innate connection with it. And I noticed that there was almost always this missing piece where no matter who I was working with, it felt almost inapplicable to my body as a Black body. There was in the teachings, I would walk into a room and there would be almost no people of color, no women, no femme of color. And there would be comments and implicit biases and fetishizing and all of the things that, even though people in the rooms were, quote unquote, trauma informed, there was no informed aspect around their own racial biases and the racism that they held in their bodies. And when we are dropping into a healing of anything, right, something that that I say that is just so true for me. If you are not about the liberation for everyone, right? Like the liberation of one means absolutely nothing without the liberation of all. If you are like deeply desiring in your own body or in the world, right? We can start like with our own selves, right? But also our ripple effect in the world. If we only work with sexualized trauma, but we do not also work with the racialized trauma and the intersection of those, we are stopping ourselves from fully being alive. We're stopping ourselves from fully healing. I know I teach, and I know a great many, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of coaches, teachers, space holders who work specifically in sex, relationships, love, intimacy. And clients who come to you, right? So if you are in the field and you're not also working with racialized trauma and how that work can affect the healing of sexualized trauma, and you're working with bodies of color, you are doing them a disservice. You are not able to hold them fully. And they will know that, whether or not it is a verbal conversation, their bodies know. Their ancestral trauma that lives in their bodies know that we can only go so far in this space. And sometimes that's what that space is, and you only go so far. But if we are desiring full agency and liberation in ourselves and in whatever way we show up to life and as life. This is an intersection that, if not addressed, it hinders us, it stagnates us, it shackles us, because they are so interwoven. Being in a body of color, being in a femme body of color, has come with some of the most horrific atrocities that were inflicted sexually by white bodies. And if both white bodies and bodies of color are only working around sexual trauma, but not also working with racialized trauma, not only can we only go so far, but we can also begin to gaslight ourselves. We can begin to reinforce sexualized and racialized trauma in our bodies if we don't allow ourselves to go through the portal together, right? To allow ourselves to go through both of those portals together. And there is no, you don't have to do this work. You don't have to do anything. Like no one has to do anything. And if you want to be fully free in your body, if you only work with sexualized trauma, but you don't work with the racialized trauma, and this is bodies of color, bodies of culture, as Resmaa Menakem calls us, and also white bodies, we all have racialized trauma, whether that's ancestrally, whether that's lived experience, whether that's it's both, which for many bodies of color, it's both ancestral and their actual lived experience. If we're not all doing that, we're only showing up to half of the work. Yeah.
Amen. Amen to that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. As I listen to you, it strikes me that your voice is going to be even that much more important in this summit for having this. So I'm really, really glad you're here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. We're also going to talk about reclaiming and surrendering into our voice, power, and expression, something that you model very well, Nikka.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. When we've got these traumas, right? And sometimes we're like, oh, I recognize, like I can see the big T trauma stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the little T trauma, the systemic trauma, the chronic trauma responses in our bodies, we don't always hold a conscious awareness around them. And when we are desiring to fully step into like our expression, right? Or like this is like full integration of identities, all aspects of self, using our voice, embodying like fully like every aspect of who we are, our power. When we're desiring like, yes, 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 so often when we're not touching in on the layers of trauma, we can go into yet another trauma response in order to feel as if we're expressing. If we're in a chronic freeze response, or we've been in a victim consciousness for a very long time, if we've been in a flight response, whatever we're come from, we can then go into yet another trauma response to try to get out of that. Mm-hmm. We can very often go into a hyper masculine fight, right? Like when we're just like, and we're like, you're going to hear me. And this is my power and that. And we feel like the louder we get, or the more in someone's face we get, or the more polarizing we get, that, like, and we have to prove it. And we're in like everything. And we're just like fighting for everything to be validated and heard. And there's a difference, and it can sometimes be a little confusing. Fighting for the revolution, right? Fighting, yes, for voices to be heard is very different than fighting yourself and trying to prove that your voice should be heard and trying to get people to listen, right? And so the idea of surrender, when we are deeply in a trauma response, or we are where we have a lot of unprocessed trauma, surrender can feel like the scariest and most inaccessible thing in the world. It can feel like it is death. It can feel like there's no way I can do that. Like you're batshit crazy if you think that's a good idea or that that's even available to me. And so as we drop deeper and deeper into our healing, into the noticing, into curiosity around whatever is here for us, whatever is showing up for us in our racialized trauma, in our sexualized trauma, in the intersection where we're like, am I gaslighting myself? Is this something that, wherever we are, if we notice, okay, so yeah, like, what do I have on surrender? And if we're like, oh yeah, like, right? Like, it's like this immediate like surrender, like, oh, like I can't, or we go into like some sort of like somatic experience of even the potentiality of surrender, then that's the medicine. That's a portal for us. That's where we're like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, like that left shoulder blade or that right hip, or we're like, okay, something in my throat, rather than trying to force whatever is there. Like, now I'm gonna like, and I'm gonna make a video and I'm gonna do the thing, right? Or I'm gonna go have. It seems like a really great idea to go have that conversation I was gonna have with my brother or my, and it's rather than, right?
Yeah.
We can notice, oh, what's that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can breathe with it.
Yeah. It's also like catching that propensity to perpetuate harm before we actually put, like take the action.
Yes. Yes.
And I know just what you're talking about here. I do. Yeah. I was interviewing Anna Forrest yesterday. I don't know if you know who. And she's like, yeah, sometimes the only good thing we can do in a day is to like not do that thing. Like, that's our, not
that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. And and as you were talking, it's like, yeah, because the nervous system is wired to do that thing. Everything in you at that moment, or so it seems, wants to do that thing.
Right.
And so to take that pause and work out that shoulder, that neck, or just stay where you are. Do nothing. It's the hardest. It's the hardest.
Right. And in yoga, right? Like, and this is why we practice. Because when we are in those moments of, I got to do the thing, really, all we're trying to do is regulate our nervous system. And the encoding tells us taking that action is that's safe. That's gonna calm everything down. We'll feel better. We'll be okay if we go do that, whatever reactivity. And when, like, one of the most challenging things sometimes, especially if you are in a space of activated trauma, when you're on your mat, and when I say on your mat, like, yes, potentially in an asana practice, in a pranayama practice, but really the world is your mat. So like when you're doing life, when you're on your mat,
exactly,
can you be in the stillness of whatever is coming up and coming through for you, right? And this, yes, like our asana, our movement practice, our dance, our nervous system work, whatever it is, that somatic, all of it, it's simply that portal to allow us to be with the stillness. Like, can you be with yourself without going into that habituated pattern? Can you sit in the stillness with yourself as yourself and whatever your body is showing you? Your body holds it all, and it's going to offer it up to you. And it's not offering it up to you so that you have a full freak out, right? A nervous system blowout. None of it. It's like, this is still living in our tissue. Are we ready to dissolve it? Nope, not okay. That's cool, right? Like, nope, not yet. We're not ready. And then come back to the practice. Maybe the next day. Yeah, still here. So, okay, cool, right? The reactivity didn't solve anything. Got it, right? And so we're in the practice of being ourselves.
I love
And
that. We're in the
yeah,
practice of being ourselves and
yeah,
with the self that we are.
being with, yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Awesome. All right. One more juicy bit. Let me see if I'm gonna have to put my glasses on, so I don't want to fuck this up. All
I
right.
love it. I love it.
Okay, these are Nikka's words, and they're so wonderful and poetic. And I want to do them justice. And so we're going to talk about catalyzing global change, catalyzing global change and vibrational shifts through the somatic inquiry of our bodies. And we have been talking about this, but I'm sure there's more to say.
Yeah. One of the, I feel like I start every sentence with one of the, but it's true. It's like, it's one of the things that I really notice and have noticed in activists, abolitionists, revolutionaries, that are here, quote unquote, living, with us at this time, and also those in the past, ancestors. So many were fighting the good fight, but there was no somatic presencing. There was no body-based practice to support it. And this goes for artists, this goes for all aspects of ourselves. We can burn and we can burn and we can burn and we can burn and we can burn. But if we don't tend the embers, the flames, if we don't tend the wood, the foundation, the bones of who and what we are, of the revolution as it is being born and rebirthed and evoked through us, it's really hard for us to stay in a space of equanimity, in a space of the stillness. We can, there's like, you might be this like full on like activist, and yet your family life is horrible because you got nothing left. And so then you're just like an asshole at home, and you're just like, you're rude, and whatever home might be, kids, partners, siblings, like parents, friends, whatever that is. But there's no, it's like you've got nothing left because you're not in your body in any of it. It's just coming from the mind space of, this has to get done, we've got to make the change, we've got to create the shifts, we've got to. And when we allow the revolution to be lived through our body, we are able to not only sustain, but to thrive. We are able to go beyond the superficial ideations of what it is to be a change maker, to disrupt paradigms. We're able, like, that's cool. And also we're able to go all the way in. We're able to go all the way in and touch the bones and evoke the bones of, wow, so this is what it seems like it is. And then really, what is it? And rather than perpetuating things that only serve to reinforce the issues at hand, we're able to actually show up in a regulated body. If we are not in this somatic inquiry of who we are, right? If we're not in that space where like, oh, hey, yeah, so that's happening in the world, or no one's doing anything about this, or wow, whatever it might be. And we bring it down, right? Into pussy, into oracle, into our tailbone, into our thighs. We root it in. Our come from is regulation, rather than our come from. If we come to the revolution from a space of dysregulation, all we do is then add in more dysregulation to the problem at hand. If we allow ourselves to be in the practice of our own remembrance and the wilds and the regulating of our nervous system, then that's our come from. Others that come into contact with us are able to drop in to that embodied space, to drop into that remembrance, to drop into that that regulation of our nervous system, of our bodies. And then that becomes our contribution to the revolution, into life.
Yes. As you're speaking, I'm imagining, well, a couple things. or 1,000 things or more.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's like, well, what does it feel like to be in the revolution, to
Yeah.
be in the now, to be, this agent of change? What does it feel like? And then I had this image of children. It's like, we want to be, what I hear you saying and how it hits me is we want to be present in our bodies in a way that children feel safe around us, that they can believe in what we're about.
And we can believe it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we can believe it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
So good. Okay. Nikka Karli, such a pleasure.
Thank you, love. It's been just like so yummy. So yummy. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah. Awesome.